Space was silent, but inside Engineer David Hale, something was screaming. He stood on the metal platform of Station 47, staring at the massive dark shape floating outside. It wasn't a ship. It was a shadow, a sleeping monster made of metal and light. It didn't look built. It looked born. The alien vessel hovered in the void like a giant heart that had stopped beating. David had repaired hundreds of ships in his career. None of them had ever looked back at him. This one did. Even from a distance, he felt its presence. He felt watched. His communicator buzzed. Commander Rill spoke with a calm voice that didn't match the situation. Engineer Hale, proceed. There are no life signs on the ship. Repeat, no life signs. We scanned it 12 times. It's empty. David didn't break his stare. Then why does it look alive? It isn't. It's a dead vessel. Something ancient. Maybe. Your job is simple. Get in. Fix the power core. Get out. Easy words. But nothing felt easy. The doors of the small shuttle opened. David stepped inside, and the shuttle carried him slowly toward the alien ship. As he approached, the vessel grew larger, so large it swallowed the stars behind it. His heart hammered. His breath came shallow. Calm down, he whispered. It's just a ship. But it wasn't. Every instinct in his body screamed. Do not enter. The shuttle touched the alien hull with a soft click. No metal clang. No vibration. It was like landing on skin. David stepped toward the door, before he could even reach for the controls. The alien doors opened by themselves. They unfolded like the petals of flower opening in slow motion, revealing a long, breathing corridor. David froze. He had not touched anything. Okay, that's not normal, he whispered. He forced himself to step inside. The moment his boots crossed the doorway, boom, the door slammed shut behind him with violent force. David jumped, spinning around. The exit was sealed. Not locked, sealed like a wall. His radio crackled. Commander? The doors closed. Static. Low 6D, can't... Ayo. The signal cut completely. He was alone. The hallway ahead was dim, lit only by faint blue veins running along the walls. The air was warm, strangely warm for a dead ship, and the floor lit up beneath his feet. Every step, tap, a circle of bright light appeared. It felt like the ship was tracking him, or guiding him. He didn't know which one was worse. The deeper he walked, the more the ship changed. The walls shifted subtly, like muscle under skin. He could hear a soft hum. No, not a hum. Breathing. This place is not empty, he whispered. He checked the scanner. No life forms detected. That did not comfort him at all. He entered a wider room, a chamber glowing with pale purple light. In the center stood a tall, cracked stasis pod. Mist floated around it like cold smoke. Strange symbols pulsed on the floor in rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. David stepped closer. Inside the cracked pod was a silhouette, a tall figure, elegant shape, long limbs, a faint, royal posture, even in sleep. David lifted his scanner. Still 0 readings. Then why is she breathing? Because the figure was breathing. A soft exhale fogged the glass from inside. David staggered backward, heart racing. Someone was alive. Someone powerful. Someone the scanner refused to detect. The lights in the chamber suddenly brightened, blinding white for a moment, then dimmed again, as the entire ship gasped in excitement. The symbols on the walls glowed brighter now, running in waves across the chamber. The ship was waking up. David felt it move, not physically, but like a mind opening its eyes. "What are you?" he whispered to the air. A crack echoed. He turned toward the stasis pod. A thin line of light appeared along its center. Hissus. The crack widened. The pod was opening. "No, no. Please stay asleep," David whispered, taking another step back. The glass split. Mist rushed out in a cold wave. The figure inside slowly leaned forward. Fingers touched the edge of the pod, long, glowing fingers with golden energy running through them like liquid fire. She stepped out. Her foot touched the ground, and the entire ship lit up bright blue for half a second, as if celebrating her return. David's breath locked. She was tall, far taller than any human, beautiful in a way that was alien and dangerous. Her skin glowed silver blue. Golden markings ran along her body like living tattoos. Her hair flowed like energy, not strands. Her eyes were bright amber, burning like small suns. Even weak, even injured, she radiated power. Power that could tear ships apart. She looked at David with slow, sharp awareness. Not shocked, not confused. She looked at him like she already knew him, like she had been waiting for him. She took one step closer. David didn't move. He couldn't. Her voice came soft, but it carried heavy authority, the kind only royalty has. "Human," she whispered, "why are you inside my royal ship?" David felt the words hit him like a punch. Royal. Ship. This wasn't a ghost ship. This wasn't abandoned. This wasn't empty. He hadn't walked into a repair mission. He had walked into a throne room, and the queen, the alien queen, was now standing in front of him, awake, watching him with ancient, fierce, golden eyes. David understood one thing. He was not here by accident. The ship had chosen him. The queen had awakened because of him. And whatever was coming next, he was already in too deep to escape. The alien queen stood silently in front of David, her glowing eyes locked onto him. The chamber lights flickered as if the ship itself held its breath. Everything felt too still, too quiet, like the entire vessel was waiting for her next move. David felt tiny. He felt like an ant standing in front of a storm. She tilted her head slightly, studying him the way someone studies a strange new animal. "Human," she repeated, this time softer, almost confused. "Why are you here?" David opened his mouth, but no sound came out at first. His throat felt dry, his voice trapped. I was sent to fix your ship," he finally managed to say. "Sent?" she whispered. Her eyes narrowed, glowing brighter. "No, you were brought." That word hit David like cold water. Brought? By who? By what? The queen raised her hand. Golden lines across her skin brightened, and the air around her shifted, like gravity bending. A faint wave rolled through the chamber, and the walls responded with a soft pulse. It wasn't just her ship. It was connected to her, almost alive through her. David took a step back. Her eyes sharpened. "Do not move." He froze, not because she told him, but because the air around him suddenly felt heavier, thick, like invisible hands holding him still. She wasn't threatening him. She simply was a threat. The queen slowly stepped closer, and David felt the heat coming from her skin, a soft warmth that carried power, danger, and something older than anything humans had ever met. She lifted her hand slightly. Golden particles rose from her skin and floated in the air like tiny fireflies. David watched in awe and fear. She brought her hand near his chest, slowly, carefully, like she was scanning him with her own energy. The particles circled around him in a glowing ring. He felt something inside him vibrate, something deep, something like recognition. Her eyes widened. "No," she whispered. "This cannot be." David swallowed. "What? What's happening?" "You carry a signal." Her voice trembled, but her eyes were focused and sharp. "My ship called to you because it sensed the signal." David stared at her. "Signal? I don't understand." She stepped back slightly, her expression shifting from anger to shock to something David couldn't identify. "You are marked," she whispered. "Marked by my enemy." The words hit like thunder. "Your enemy? I didn't even know aliens existed until today." But she didn't listen. She turned her head sharply, like she heard something distant. The ship lights dimmed. The floor vibrated faintly. Something else was approaching. Something dangerous. The queen's breath slowed. Her body stiffened. Her eyes sharpened with instinct. "They are coming," she said quietly. David felt cold. "Who is coming?" Her gaze went to the ceiling, to the walls. Everywhere at once. "The hunters." The word itself felt sharp. David's heart dropped. "Hunters? For what?" "For me," she said. "Or what remains of my kingdom." The ship suddenly made a deep, low growl, like a giant beast sensing a predator. The lights turned crimson for a moment, then blue again. The queen closed her eyes and touched her temple. Her legs shook slightly. She still looked powerful, but weakened. David finally noticed a faint crack on her shoulder, glowing like a wound made of light. "You're hurt," he said. Her eyes opened. "I am dying." The words were simple, calm, but they hit David like a punch. "Dying? A being this powerful? How can someone like you be dying?" he asked softly. She didn't answer. Instead, she pointed at the glowing stasis pod behind her. "My pod was damaged during the attack. I woke before it could heal me." David took a slow breath. "Can I help you?" The queen turned her sharp gaze toward him. "You can restore my ship's power. Only then can I heal." David nodded slowly. "I can try." She stepped closer again, this time not as a threat, but as someone desperate. "You must succeed. Without power, my body will fail. And if I die—" She looked toward the dark ceiling, her voice trembling for the first time. "My people die with me." David felt a weight settle on his chest. He didn't know her. He didn't know her people. He didn't understand any of this. But he understood this. She was the last of something important. Before he could speak again, the queen suddenly stiffened. Her eyes glowed bright gold. She whispered a single word: "Incoming." The room shook violently, hard enough to knock David off balance. He grabbed onto a railing as the chamber lights flashed red. The queen lifted her hand, and a hologram appeared, floating in the air. It showed 3 massive ships approaching. Dark ships, sharp, predatory, hunters. "They found me," she whispered. David felt cold fear spread through his body. "What do they want?" "Me," the queen said with a calmness that scared him more than anything. "And they will destroy anything that protects me." The ship roared again, an angry, deep metal growl. The queen looked at David, her expression suddenly fierce. "You must fix my ship." Her voice was no longer soft. It was a command. The command of a queen. David swallowed hard. "But I don't know how." "You will," she said. "My ship has chosen you. It will show you the way." The floor beneath David's feet suddenly lit up, bright blue lines stretching into the hallway, guiding him. The queen's eyes glowed. "Run, human. Run fast. The hunters are coming. And if they enter this ship—" She held his gaze with fire in her eyes. "You will die first." David didn't wait. He turned and ran. Behind him, the queen's golden light grew brighter. Preparing for a fight she was too weak to win. The awakening had begun. And now, everything was about to change. David ran. He didn't look back. He didn't dare. The glowing blue lines on the floor stretched ahead of him, guiding him deeper into the alien ship. The air vibrated with warning pulses, short, sharp beats that sounded almost like the heartbeat of a frightened creature. The ship was alive, afraid, and trying to protect him. Behind him, the queen's faint voice echoed through the hall. "Hurry, human, before they break through." Those words repeated in his head as he sprinted. The hallway shifted as he moved, walls sliding open, floors changing direction, paths forming only when he reached them. The ship was reshaping itself to guide him. David gasped for breath. This wasn't a repair mission anymore. This was survival. A deep rumble vibrated through the corridors, growing louder, closer. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights flickered. Something outside had struck the ship. The hunters had begun their attack. "Come on," David whispered to himself, running faster. He reached a large circular chamber. The moment he stepped inside, the door behind him slammed shut with a metallic bang. Before he could react, the room lit up. A hologram of the queen appeared in front of him. Faint, flickering, weaker than before. Her eyes focused on David. "You must activate the core chamber." David swallowed hard. "Where is it?" The room shifted. New lines lit up, leading to a stairway spiraling downward. "Follow the path," the hologram said. "My ship will guide you. Do not stop. Do not turn back." The hologram flickered, glitching for a moment. David stepped forward. "Are you okay?" "I am fighting," she answered, her voice strained. "But I am injured. The attackers, they are powerful. My strength is fading." Her image flickered again. "Go!" she whispered. Before it is too late, the hologram vanished. Another violent tremor shook the entire chamber. Metal screamed. David stumbled but caught the railing. "They're really trying to break in," he muttered. A distant, heavy boom echoed from the outer hull, followed by another, and another. The hunters were hammering the ship like wolves attacking a trapped animal. David descended the stairway. The deeper he went, the darker it became. Strange symbols glowed along the walls. Beautiful, alien markings that pulsed slowly, as if breathing with the ship. He reached the lower level and stepped into a massive circular room, the core chamber. In the center stood a floating sphere of cracked crystal, surrounded by 6 curved metal arms. Blue energy leaked from the cracks, drifting upward like smoke. The ship's heart was dying. David walked toward it slowly, mesmerized. The closer he got, the more he felt the heat. Soft, warm, alive. "This thing feels like it has a soul," he whispered. The moment he touched the central console, the entire room brightened. A surge of blue energy exploded around him. Symbols lit up across the floor. The curved metal arms moved slightly, and a voice spoke. Not the queen, not the commander. The voice of the ship itself. "Human. Designation, David Hale." David froze. "You have been selected." Suddenly, streams of holographic data surrounded him. Symbols, diagrams, glowing patterns he couldn't understand. But the more he stared, the more they simplified, shifting into shapes and lines he could read. The ship was translating its own technology for him. "You want me to fix you?" David whispered. A soft pulse answered him, as if saying yes. "But I don't even know how. I'm just an engineer. Human tech. Basic tech." Another pulse. Stronger this time. The ship showed him a structure, an energy flow map. Something like a blueprint. Simple. Understandable. "You're teaching me," David said slowly. The ship responded with a warm hum. Before he could begin, the ground shuddered violently, this time so hard the entire core room shook. David grabbed the console. "What was that?" The ship answered. "The hunters have boarded." David's heart dropped. "They're inside. Entrance breach detected." The ship replied calmly. "Queen is engaging." Another tremor shook the ship, followed by a roar that vibrated through the walls. The alien queen was fighting, but she was injured, weak, outnumbered. "How much time do we have?" David demanded. The ship responded with a cold calculation. 7 minutes. His breath caught. 7 minutes until the hunters reached the core. 7 minutes until they killed the queen. 7 minutes until he died too. David forced himself to focus. "Show me what to fix." The ship projected a simple diagram. 3 broken conduits glowing red, 1 cracked stabilizer, and a corrupted energy circuit. "I can do this," he said, breathing fast. "I can do this." He grabbed a panel and pulled it open. Blue light spilled out. He reached for a damaged conduit, hot, vibrating with unstable energy. An explosion echoed from above. Screams, not human, echoed through the ship. David froze. That was the queen. She was fighting for her life. He shook his head. No time. No fear. Work. He pulled the conduit up, twisted the stabilizer, plugged in the circuit. Spark shot out. The ship groaned. The lights flickered. The ship spoke. 2 conduits repaired. Stabilizer online. He moved faster, sweat dripping down his face. Another heavy boom above him. Footsteps. Not human. They were close. David reached the 3rd conduit, just as something slammed into the door above. A deep metallic growl echoed through the lower chamber. The hunters had found him. He worked faster. Come on. The ship whispered, its voice fainter now. "David, hurry." He twisted the final conduit into place. The core erupted with light. Blue light exploded upward like a pillar. "Core online," the ship announced. The entire vessel brightened, light surging to the hallways like blood returning to a heart. David stepped back, breathing hard. But then, a massive shadow fell across the stairs behind him. A tall creature stepped into view. Dark armor, claws, glowing red eyes. A hunter. It locked eyes with David and growled. The hunter stepped into the core chamber like a living nightmare. It was tall, almost twice David's height. Its body was wrapped in dark armor that looked grown, not built. Its claws dripped with thin lines of red energy, humming like a weapon made of rage. And its eyes, cold, red, focused directly on David. The creature tilted its head slowly, studying him with the same curiosity a predator shows before killing its prey. David felt his legs turn weak. The hunter growled, a deep, vibrating sound that echoed through the chamber walls. It didn't sound angry. It sounded hungry. David took one small step backward. The hunter took one large step forward. The ship's voice spoke quietly inside the room. Do not run. Running triggers predator instincts. David whispered back, voice shaking. I'm already triggering everything just by breathing. The hunter leaned closer, sniffing the air. Its claws clicked together, sharp, metallic, ready. Then it spoke, not in human language, not in any language David knew. A deep, rumbling alien voice said something that made the walls tremble. The ship translated. Target confirmed. Eliminate. David's heart almost stopped. No, 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 please. The hunter lunged. It moved like a blur, fast, impossibly fast. David dove to the side. Its claws sliced through the air, hitting the metal floor with a heavy crack. Sparks flew everywhere. David scrambled behind a support pillar. The hunter's head snapped toward him, tracking him immediately. No hiding. No escape. David whispered desperately. Ship, do something. The ship answered calmly. Core power restored. Defensive protocols online. Protecting Queen. Before David could ask what that meant, a hidden panel on the wall opened. A small floating drone shot out, blue, glowing, fast. It fired a shock blast at the hunter. Boom! The energy hit the creature square in the chest, sending it sliding back across the floor. David blinked in shock. Okay, that helps. The hunter roared, angry this time. Its armor cracked open slightly, revealing burning red tissue underneath. The drone fired again. This time the hunter dodged with unnatural speed. It leaped at the drone, slashing it in half with one swipe. Sparks rained down. David swallowed. That was my only help, wasn't it? Correct, the ship replied. The hunter turned back to David. David whispered, Great. The creature charged again. David sprinted around the core machinery, barely avoiding the claws that sliced inches behind him. Every step he took, the hunter took two. He wasn't outrunning it. He needed an idea. Anything. Then suddenly, the floor ahead lit up again. Blue arrows flashed in a sequence. The ship was guiding him, giving him a path. David trusted it. He ran exactly where the lights told him. The hunter leaped. Its claws hit the floor where David's head had been a second before. The impact cracked the metal. David jumped over a railing, sliding down a lower platform. His hands burned against the metal, but he didn't stop. Above him, the hunter roared and jumped down to follow. David stumbled into a smaller hallway, heart pounding. Ship, close the door. Not possible, the ship replied. Hunter strength exceeds barrier limits. Of course it did. David ran anyway. The hunter's heavy footsteps thundered behind him. The walls warped from the force as the creature scraped its claws along them. The narrow hallway opened into a bright chamber, filled with strange machines and glowing pillars. David skidded to a stop. Where am I? The energy regulation room. The ship answered. You may find tools here. Tools? The hunter entered the room behind him, ducking low to fit through the doorway. Its red eyes burned brighter. David scanned the room desperately. A panel slid open beside him. Inside was a long metal rod with glowing patterns. He grabbed it without thinking. What is this? A stabilizer wrench, the ship replied. A wrench. Against that? The ship did not answer. The hunter charged. David held the glowing wrench like a spear. For a brief second, everything slowed. The hunter leaped, claws out, teeth bared, eyes burning. David thrust the wrench forward. Crack! The glowing tool collided with the hunter's chest. A shockwave exploded. Blue and red energy erupted like lightning between them. The hunter was thrown backward, crashing into a pillar hard enough to dent it. David stared at the wrench in disbelief. What just happened? The ship answered. Alien technology. Queen's tools are not simple. David felt hope for the first time. But the hunter wasn't done. It slowly stood up, angry, injured, electricity crawling across its armor. It stepped forward again, limping slightly, but still deadly. David tightened his grip on the glowing wrench. Come on then, round two. The hunter roared and charged. David braced himself, but before the creature reached him, another voice echoed through the chamber. Powerful, sharp, royal. Enough! A blast of golden energy shot across the room. It hit the hunter like a meteor. The creature flew into the far wall and collapsed, burned, stunned, barely conscious. David looked toward the hallway. The queen stood there, glowing brighter than before, eyes blazing gold. Her wounds partially healed from the restored power. She walked toward the fallen hunter with slow, controlled steps. You dare enter my ship, she said softly, voice dripping with fury, and threaten what is mine? The hunter tried to rise. The queen raised her hand. A crack of golden force pinned the creature to the floor. David watched, stunned and breathless. This wasn't the weakened queen from before. This was a real one. With a slow, final motion, she clenched her fist. Golden energy crushed downward. The hunter stopped moving. Silence filled the chamber. The queen turned to David. Her voice softened, but her eyes still burned. You repaired my core, she said. David nodded weakly. I tried. You succeeded. She stepped closer. And now, human, the real war begins. Aiden stood silently in the dim chamber, his heartbeat slow but heavy. The alien queen, Serana, moved ahead of him with glowing steps. The blue crystals on the floor lit with every touch of her feet. She did not speak, but Aiden felt something, like her thoughts were brushing against his. He didn't know if she was reading him or warning him. The narrow tunnel opened into a long, curved hall. Strange symbols floated in the air like holograms, glowing gold. Aiden reached out to touch one, but Queen Serana gave him a sharp look. Do not touch, she said softly. These memories are dangerous. Memories? Aiden swallowed. Memories of what? The queen moved to the center of the hall and placed her hand on a tall stone pillar. Instantly, the floating symbols began to rotate, forming images. Aiden stepped closer. His breath froze. There were ships, battles, explosions in deep space. But not human ships. These were alien and terrifying. Then Aiden saw something worse. Humans, captured, forced, experimented on. His stomach tightened. What is this? He whispered. Queen Serana stared at the images with pain in her eyes. This is the truth, human. A war you do not know. A war your leaders hid. Aiden felt his mind spinning. What war? The hidden war, Serana said. It began long before your race touched the stars. She touched the pillar again. New images appeared, this time showing tall, dark creatures with red glowing eyes. They looked nothing like the queen's people. Their bodies were long and armored like insects. Their mouths were filled with sharp teeth. Aiden stepped back involuntarily. Who are they? The Zailer. Her voice shook slightly. Our oldest enemy. Aiden felt cold wash through him. These creatures looked born for killing. Serana continued. They destroy planets. They break species. They are coming for your world, too. Aiden blinked. Earth? But we're not part of your war. You are part of it now, she said. Because of me? Aiden didn't understand. Because of you? Serana turned fully toward him, her silver blue armor reflecting the golden holograms. Yes, this ship you came to fix. It is not a simple ship. It is a beacon, a signal, one that the Zailer can track. Aiden's mouth went dry. You mean when I repaired the energy core? You activated it, she said. You woke the signal. And now they know where we are. Aiden took a step back. His brain rejected the words. No, I didn't know. Your people never told us. You were never supposed to know, she said quietly. Aiden felt anger spark in his chest. Then why send me? Why bring me here if my work will put us all in danger? Surana stared at him for a long moment. That silence was terrifying. Finally she spoke. Because you're the only one who can stop it. Aiden froze. What do you mean? I'm just an engineer. No, Surana said. You are more. You have something my people do not. Aiden shook his head. What? Strength? Weapons? Knowledge? Instinct, she replied. Human instinct. The Zaylor cannot predict human thinking. They cannot understand your choices. That is why your kind survived so long. Aiden did not feel special. He felt like a man who was suddenly carrying a planet on his shoulders. Why me? He whispered. Surana stepped closer, her glowing eyes softening. Because I saw something inside you when you first touched the ship. A spark. A courage your world has forgotten. Aiden couldn't speak. Before he could respond, a deep rumbling echo filled the chamber. The walls shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Aiden grabbed a rail. What was that? Surana's eyes widened. They found us. A louder boom hit the ship, shaking the whole structure. The glowing symbols turned red. A long alarm wailed to the halls, a sound that felt like the end of everything. Surana grabbed Aiden's arm. We must reach the upper deck. Now! Aiden's heart pounded. What's on the upper deck? She looked at him with fear. She tried to hide. The Zaylor boarding pods. They've already docked. Aiden felt ice in his veins. The enemy was already inside. Surana pulled him into a running pace. They will come for me, Aiden. I am their true target. But they will kill you too if you stay near me. Aiden ran alongside her. His voice shook. Then what do we do? We fight, she said, her eyes glowing brighter. But not like before. Aiden swallowed. Then how? Surana looked at him as the ship trembled again. With you leading? Aiden felt a fear he never knew. A fear that turned slowly into something else. Resolve. The metal hallway trembled under Aiden's feet as he and Queen Surana sprinted toward the upper deck. Red warning lights flashed across every wall, painting the ship in violent color. The alarms grew louder, sharper, like the ship itself was screaming. Aiden wiped sweat from his forehead. He could hear something behind them. Heavy steps, metal scraping. Not human. Surana's voice echoed through the hallway. They're inside the ship now. Stay close to me. Aiden forced himself to breathe slowly. His hands were shaking, but he kept running. The corridor ahead opened into a wider chamber. Crystals lined the walls, glowing faint blue, but the lights were flickering violently, like they were afraid too. Aiden whispered, How many are there? Surana didn't look back. Too many. He felt his stomach twist. They reached a narrow bridge that stretched over a deep mechanical pit. A massive reactor hummed below, glowing gold. Steam hissed from broken pipes. Aiden stepped onto the bridge, then froze. On the other side of the bridge stood a creature, tall, dark, armor like skin, red glowing eyes burning with hate. A Zaylor. Its thin limbs ended in long claws. It tilted its head, examining Aiden and Surana like they were animals. Its breath came out in a sharp hiss. Aiden felt his spine go cold. Surana whispered, Do not move. But it was too late. The Zaylor opened its mouth and screamed. A high, metallic shriek that ripped through the entire chamber. Aiden covered his ears. The scream sounded like breaking glass and tearing metal. Then the creature leaped, straight at them. Aiden, run! Surana yelled. He didn't look. He just sprinted back across the bridge. The Zaylor landed on the metal, claws digging deep. Aiden almost slipped. His breath burned in his chest. The creature's steps grew closer. Surana suddenly stopped and turned. She raised her hands. Light exploded from her palms. Blue energy blasted into the creature, pushing it back a few steps. But not enough. Aiden watched in horror as the creature steadied itself. It wasn't afraid. It wasn't hurt. Aiden, go! Surana shouted again. This one is a hunter. It will follow the strongest scent. Mine. Use that. Aiden ran. He didn't want to leave her, but he understood. If the creature wanted Serana, Aiden needed to get her away from it. He dashed through another hallway. Serana right behind him. The floor vibrated under their feet. More pods were docking. More Zaylor were entering the ship. Aiden gasped, "We can't outrun all of them." "We don't need to outrun them," Serana said. "We need to reach the command chamber." "What's there?" Serana didn't answer immediately. Then she said something that made his blood freeze. "A way to shut down the beacon, but it will alert the Zaylor Queen." Aiden stumbled for a second. "There's a queen." "Of course there is. Why not?" Serana's eyes narrowed. "She is worse than you imagine." Aiden didn't want to imagine. Not now. They turned a corner and suddenly stopped. The hallway had collapsed. Metal beams were twisted, wires hanging loose, fire burning on the right side. A dead end. Aiden cursed under his breath. No, we can't go back. That thing is right behind us." Serana pressed her hands against the wall. "Stand back." Aiden stepped away. Serana closed her eyes, and her armor glowed brighter. The crystals on the walls responded, lighting up and pulsing. Then the entire wall shifted. A hidden door appeared. Aiden blinked. "You have secret doors now?" Serana grabbed his wrist. This ship was made for war, and war has many secrets. They entered the hidden passage. The walls here were darker, made of rough stone instead of metal. Cold air brushed Aiden's face. Behind them, a loud crash. The Zaylor hunter had reached the collapsed hallway. Aiden heard its claws scraping the ground as it sniffed, searching for them. Serana whispered, "Be silent." Aiden held his breath. Slow steps echoed outside. Slow, then faster. The creature was close. Aiden felt his heart pounding against his ribs. It stopped right outside the hidden door. Aiden could almost hear it breathing. Then, a horrifying metallic growl. Serana placed her hand on Aiden's shoulder, steadying him. "It knows we are close," she whispered, "but it cannot see this passage. Not yet." Aiden's throat was dry. "Not yet." She nodded. "It will find the entrance soon. We must keep moving." Aiden took a shaking breath. "How far to the command chamber?" "Far," Serana said. "And the hunters are not our only problem." Aiden blinked. "What else is there?" Serana stopped walking. Her glowing eyes turned sharp. "The Zaylor Queen sent something worse than hunters." Aiden whispered, "Worse than that thing?" Serana nodded once. "They sent a seeker." Aiden felt the air leave his lungs. "What does a seeker do?" Serana answered with a cold whisper. "It finds the one destined to stop the war, and kills them first." Aiden's skin turned cold, and he suddenly realized it was looking for him.